What if I told you that the only real difference between people who live an average life and people who build extraordinary success is not luck, not intelligence, not even talent, but the size of their thinking? Imagine this. Two people start at the same point in life, both with the same opportunities, but one thinks small and spends his days chasing tiny goals, while the other thinks big, dreams without limits, and believes in possibilities no one else can see. 10 years later, their lives look nothing alike. One is stuck, frustrated, and unfulfilled, while the other is successful, admired, and living a life of impact. Now here's the real question. Who do you want to be? If you stay with me until the very end of this audiobook-style summary, you'll discover secrets from The Magic of Thinking Big by David J. Schwartz that will challenge the way you see your life, your work, and your future. These are not just theories. They are practical steps that will push you to break free from small thinking, destroy the excuses holding you back, and build the confidence to go after dreams that scare you. By the end, you will not just understand success, you will feel ready to create it. So let's dive in. Success is not reserved for a chosen few. It does not belong only to the people who were born into wealthy families or to those who graduated from the most prestigious universities. Success in its truest form belongs to those who think differently, those who believe in possibilities that others cannot see, and those who dare to think big when everyone else thinks small. This is the timeless message of the magic of thinking big. Imagine for a moment two people standing at the edge of a wide open field. One of them sees only dirt, rocks, and endless work. The other sees a golden opportunity, a place where crops can grow, where life can flourish, where a dream can be built. The difference is not in the field, it is in their thinking. One person thinks small and sees obstacles, the other thinks big and sees opportunities. The size of your success is directly related to the size of your thinking. If you think small, you'll act small and you'll live small. If you think big, your actions grow, your vision expands, and your life transforms. David J. Schwartz starts by telling us that belief is the foundation of all greatness. Belief is like a seed. If you plant a small seed, you get a small plant. If you plant a mighty seed with care, you get a tree that grows tall and strong. The same is true for your beliefs. If you believe you are capable of small achievements, you will reach only small milestones. But if you believe you are capable of greatness, then your life will rise to meet that vision. Belief, more than talent or intelligence, is what separates ordinary people from extraordinary achievers. Think about it. Every great invention, every business empire, every world-changing movement started in the mind of someone who dared to think bigger than those around them. Thomas Edison believed he could create light when the world lived in darkness. The Wright brothers believed they could make humans fly when people laughed at the idea. Oprah Winfrey believed she could rise from poverty to become a global inspiration. The world may not have believed in them at first, but they believed in themselves. And that made all the difference. Belief is power, but how do we grow this belief? Schwartz tells us that belief grows through action. Confidence is not something you're born with, it's something you create. It's like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. When you take action, even in small steps, you prove to yourself that you are capable. Each small victory builds belief, and that belief pushes you to aim higher, to take bigger risks, to dream bigger dreams. But belief alone is not enough. You must also learn to defeat the excuses that keep most people trapped in small thinking. Schwartz calls this excusitis, the disease of the mind that prevents success. People with excusitis always have a reason why they cannot achieve more. They say, I'm too old, or I'm too young, or I don't have enough education, or I don't have the right connections. Excuses are lies we tell ourselves to protect our comfort zone. They are chains that keep us from exploring what we are truly capable of. Let's break down the common excuses. The first excuse is about age. Some people say they are too young to achieve something meaningful, while others claim they are too old to start over. The truth is, age is never the barrier. It's only your thinking about age that holds you back. Look at Mark Zuckerberg, who started Facebook in his early 20s, or Colonel Sanders, who founded KFC in his 60s. Both refused to let age define them. The key is to realize that your age is simply a number. What really matters is your vision and determination. The second excuse is about health. People often say, I'm not healthy enough, or I have too many problems to succeed. While health challenges can be real, most of the time people exaggerate them to avoid taking risks. History is filled with people who overcame physical limitations to achieve greatness. Beethoven composed symphonies while deaf. Stephen Hawking changed the world of science while confined to a wheelchair. Your physical limitations do not limit your ability to think big, unless you let them. The third excuse is about intelligence. Many people believe they are not smart enough to achieve success. They think intelligence is something fixed, you either have it or you don't. But Schwartz explains that success is not about how much you know, it's about how well you use what you know. The world is full of geniuses who never accomplished anything, and ordinary people who built extraordinary lives simply because they believed they could. The truth is, the person who thinks he can succeed is already smarter than the person who thinks he cannot. The fourth excuse is about luck. People often say, "I'm just not lucky." They believe that success comes only to those who happen to be in the right place at the right time. But luck is not a strategy. Luck favors the prepared mind. It comes to those who take action, those who create opportunities, those who persist even when things don't go their way. As the old saying goes, the harder I work, the luckier I get. Luck is simply the meeting point of preparation and opportunity. Once we destroy the excuses, the next step is to build confidence and destroy fear. Fear is one of the greatest enemies of thinking big. It whispers in your mind, telling you that you're not ready, that you'll fail, that others will laugh at you. Fear is powerful, but it loses its grip the moment you take action. Schwartz teaches that action cures fear. If you're afraid of public speaking, speak more often. If you're afraid of rejection, start putting yourself in situations where you might hear no. Each time you act, the fear grows weaker, and your confidence grows stronger. Think about a child learning to ride a bicycle. At first, fear is overwhelming. The child trembles, afraid of falling. But the moment they pedal forward, something changes. With each attempt, fear fades and balance grows. Soon the child rides with confidence, wondering why they were ever afraid at all. Life works the same way. Action dissolves fear. The key is to move forward even when fear is loudest. Schwartz also reminds us that confidence comes from how we think and how we carry ourselves. If you walk with your head down, shoulders slumped, and voice shaky, your mind will believe you are weak. But if you walk tall with energy in your step and speak with strength, your mind will believe you are strong. The body and the mind are connected. Change your posture, change your thoughts. Change your thoughts, change your life. Another principle from this book is about the importance of positive thinking. Negative thoughts are like weeds. They grow quickly and choke the life out of your dreams. Positive thoughts are like flowers. They need nurturing, but they make your world beautiful. If you want success, you must feed your mind with positive beliefs and positive words. Stop saying, "I can't," and start saying, "I can." Stop saying, "It's impossible," and start asking, "How can I make it possible?" Words shape thoughts, thoughts shape actions, and actions shape your destiny. One powerful habit Schwartz teaches is to think positively about people. Instead of criticizing, judging, or envying others, look for the good in them. When you see others in a positive light, you train your mind to see possibilities rather than problems. People are drawn to those who uplift them, who believe in them, who encourage them. If you want to attract opportunities, be the kind of person who radiates positivity. As we move deeper into the book, we realize that success is not about working harder than everyone else. It's about thinking bigger than everyone else. When you think big, you set bigger goals, and bigger goals inspire bigger action. Most people fail not because they aim too high and miss, but because they aim too low and hit. They settle for less when they could have achieved more. Thinking big does not cost you anything, but it changes everything. So far, we have learned 3 powerful lessons. Believe in yourself and your potential, destroy the disease of excuses, and build confidence and cure fear through action. These are the foundations of thinking big. Once you adopt them, your world begins to change. You start to see opportunities where others see problems. You start to act with courage where others act with hesitation. You start to dream bigger, speak bolder, and live with more purpose, and this is just the beginning. Success is built on the foundation of belief, confidence, and positive thinking. But to truly unlock the magic of thinking big, you must also learn how to set your mind on creative solutions instead of dwelling on problems. Average thinkers see obstacles and stop. Big thinkers see the same obstacles and ask, "How can I overcome this? How can I turn this problem into an opportunity?" This is the habit of solution-oriented thinking, and it is one of the most powerful skills you can develop. Schwartz explains that when you train your mind to focus on solutions, You build momentum. For example, if a business loses a major client, small thinkers complain, panic, or blame others. Big thinkers immediately ask, where can we find 2 new clients? What can we improve to make sure this never happens again? Instead of sinking, they rise. Instead of stopping, they grow. This principle applies in every area of life. If your finances are in trouble, instead of saying, I can't afford this, and say, how can I afford it? Small goals do not excite the imagination or fuel motivation. Big goals challenge you, stretch you, and force you to grow beyond your limits. For example, if your goal is to save a little money, you might save a few $100s. But if your goal is to become financially independent, you will look for bigger opportunities, create new income streams, and discipline yourself in ways you never would with small goals. A big goal pulls you forward and keeps you alive with energy. But setting the goal is only the beginning. The secret is in consistent action. Schwartz says it clearly. Big success is achieved through small steps repeated daily. You don't climb a mountain in one leap. You climb it one step at a time. Each step might feel small, but together they take you to the top. The difference between people who succeed and people who fail is not talent but persistence. Successful people simply refuse to quit. They keep going when others stop. They keep trying when others give up. They keep believing when others lose faith. Another key principle in the magic of thinking big is how you manage your environment. Your environment shapes your thinking more than you realize. If you surround yourself with negative, complaining, small-minded people, you will begin to think like them. You will begin to adopt their fears, their doubts, their excuses. On the other hand, if you surround yourself with positive, ambitious, big-thinking people, you will rise with them. Their energy, their vision, and their courage will rub off on you. This is why Schwartz insists that you guard your environment. Avoid gossip, avoid toxic conversations, avoid people who constantly tell you what you cannot do. Instead, seek out mentors, leaders, and friends who inspire you to think bigger. Remember this: you cannot live a big life with a small crowd. Sometimes this means making tough choices, distancing yourself from old friends who pull you down, or spending less time with relatives who only criticize. It's not about arrogance, it's about protecting your future. Your dreams deserve an environment that nurtures them, not one that kills them. Along with choosing your environment, Schwartz emphasizes the importance of thinking and acting like a leader. Leadership is not about a title, a position, or authority. Leadership is about influence. It is about inspiring others through your vision, your actions, and your example. Anyone can be a leader if they choose to think and act like one. Leaders think big. They see opportunities for themselves and for others. They build people up instead of tearing them down. They share credit instead of hoarding it. They accept responsibility instead of blaming others. And most importantly, leaders create confidence in the people around them. They make people feel capable, valued, and important. This is why leaders attract opportunities, because people trust them, follow them, and believe in them. Schwartz gives us a simple formula. To be a leader, treat people as if they are important because they are. Look for ways to encourage others, praise their efforts, and show genuine interest in their lives. When you make people feel important, you elevate not only their confidence but also your own influence. Think about it. Who do you prefer to be around? Someone who constantly criticizes and points out flaws, or someone who notices your strengths and believes in your potential? The answer is obvious. Be the person who makes others feel like winners, and you will never run short of opportunities. Another big principle in this book is about using your imagination constructively. The human mind is a powerful machine, capable of creating extraordinary ideas, but most people use it to imagine fear, failure, and problems. They waste their imagination worrying about what might go wrong instead of using it to plan what could go right. Schwartz teaches us to reverse this. Use your imagination to visualize success, to picture yourself achieving your goals, to see yourself handling challenges with strength. Athletes use visualization all the time. They see themselves winning before they step onto the field. Entrepreneurs imagine their businesses thriving before they open their doors. Leaders imagine their vision becoming reality before others can even picture it. When you use imagination positively, you activate a force that pulls you toward success. Visualization fuels belief, and belief fuels action. Along with imagination, there is also the power of enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is contagious. When you are passionate, energetic, and excited about your vision, people around you feel it. They become inspired. They want to join you. They want to support you. On the other hand, When you act bored, indifferent, or negative, you push people away. Schwartz encourages us to cultivate enthusiasm in everything we do. Approach your work with energy. Greet people with warmth. Talk about your goals with passion. Even if you don't feel enthusiastic at first, act as if you are. Soon, your feelings will catch up with your actions. Enthusiasm not only inspires others, it inspires you. It keeps you motivated when challenges appear, and it reminds you why your goals matter. As we move further, Schwartz introduces us to the concept of action orientation. Big thinkers are action-oriented. They don't just sit around waiting for the perfect moment. They know that waiting for perfect conditions is a trap. The truth is, conditions are never perfect. If you wait until everything is just right, you'll wait forever. Action beats inaction every time. Even imperfect action is better than no action, because it creates momentum, and momentum creates opportunities. Consider someone who wants to start a business. A small thinker waits for the right idea, the right funding, the right connections, and the right timing. Years pass and nothing happens. A big thinker starts with what they have, learns along the way, makes mistakes, adjusts, and keeps moving. In the end, they build something real while the small thinker is still waiting. Schwartz says it clearly: do it now. Don't wait. Don't delay. Don't procrastinate. Action today creates success tomorrow. Fear shrinks when you act. Confidence grows when you act. Opportunities appear when you act. The habit of action is the habit of success. Big success also requires mastering the art of managing your attitudes. Your attitude is like a magnet. It either attracts people and opportunities or it pushes them away. A person with a positive, optimistic, can-do attitude will naturally draw others toward them, because people want to be around energy, hope, and possibility. On the other hand, a negative, pessimistic, complaining attitude repels people and creates isolation. Schwartz reminds us that success is never built alone. It always involves people. And the fastest way to win people to your side is to carry an attitude that says, "We can do this. I believe in you. And let's make it happen." Your attitude also shapes the way you interpret life. When challenges appear, a negative attitude says, "This is the end, I'm doomed, nothing will ever work out." A positive attitude says, "This is a test, I can learn from this and I can come back stronger." The situation is the same, but the outcome is different because of attitude. Think about two salespeople facing rejection. One gets discouraged, stops trying, and says, "I'll never succeed." The other says, "Each no brings me closer to a yes, I'll keep going." Which one do you think builds success? Attitude is everything. Another vital principle in thinking big is learning to turn setbacks into comebacks. Everyone faces failure. Everyone. The difference is how you respond. Small thinkers see failure as proof they are not capable. Big thinkers see failure as feedback. They ask, "What can I learn from this? How can I adjust and try again?" Every great success story is filled with setbacks. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. Walt Disney was rejected over and over before creating his empire. J.K. Rowling was told her book would never sell, yet she created Harry Potter. What kept them going? The ability to see failure not as the end but as a stepping stone. Schwartz emphasizes that failure is only permanent if you quit. If you keep moving, failure becomes temporary, and eventually it becomes the foundation of your success. This is why persistence is one of the greatest qualities of big thinkers. Persistence means continuing even when the excitement is gone, when the road is tough, when progress is slow. Most people give up just before success arrives. They underestimate how close they are to the breakthrough. Persistence is what carries you through the dark valley until you reach the mountaintop. One way to strengthen persistence is to remind yourself constantly of your purpose. Why are you chasing this goal? Why does it matter to you? When your why is strong enough, you will always find the how. Purpose fuels persistence. Without it, you will quit at the first sign of difficulty. With it, you will keep moving even when the path feels impossible. Another big concept from this book is thinking big in terms of your income and career. Many people limit their earning potential because they think small. They say, "I just want enough to get by," or "I don't need too much." But the truth is, small financial goals lead to small financial results. Big thinkers aim to increase their value, not just their salary. They ask, "How can I serve more people? How can I solve bigger problems? How can I make myself indispensable?" No, When you think like this, money becomes a byproduct of your contribution. The marketplace rewards value. If you want to earn more, become more valuable. Develop skills, expand your knowledge, take on challenges others avoid. Instead of waiting for someone to notice you, make yourself impossible to ignore. This principle also applies to promotions. Instead of saying, "I'll do more when they promote me," say, "I'll do more now and the promotion will follow." Leaders are not chosen randomly. They are noticed because they already act like leaders. The same is true in business. Customers don't buy from the cheapest company. They buy from the one that offers the most value. So instead of asking, "How can I get by?" ask, "How can I deliver excellence?" Big income is the result of big service. Schwartz also introduces us to the concept of thinking like an important person. This does not mean arrogance or pride. It means carrying yourself with dignity, confidence, and self-respect. How you see yourself is how the world will see you. If you think of yourself as small, unworthy, or inferior, others will treat you that way. If you think of yourself as capable, valuable, and deserving of respect, others will see you in that light. This is why it's crucial to upgrade your self-image. Dress in a way that makes you feel confident. Speak in a way that reflects belief in yourself. Carry yourself as if you are someone important because you are. Schwartz says it clearly. You are what you think you are. Your self-image sets the boundaries of your achievement. Raise your self-image, and you raise your results. Another major point is that thinking big means thinking about the future, not just the present. Small thinkers are obsessed with immediate comfort. They ask, "What feels good right now?" Big thinkers sacrifice short-term pleasure for long-term gain. They invest in their education, their skills, their health, their relationships, knowing that the payoff will come later. They are willing to delay gratification because they understand that success is built over time. For example, while others spend their evenings watching television, big thinkers spend time learning, planning, and building. While others waste money on things that don't matter, big thinkers invest in assets that grow. The small thinker looks at today. The big thinker looks at tomorrow. And tomorrow belongs to the big thinker. Connected to this idea is the importance of planning. Planning is bringing the future into the present so you can act on it now. Schwartz emphasizes that big thinkers plan their days, their weeks, and their lives. They don't just drift. They decide where they are going and then make choices that align with that destination. Without a plan, life controls you. With a plan, you control life. But here's the key. Plans don't have to be perfect. They just need to give direction. Action will adjust the details along the way. Another critical principle of the magic of thinking big is the use of language. Words are powerful. The words you use shape the way you think, and the way you think shapes the way you act. Small thinkers use words of limitation. They say, "I can't, I doubt it, it's impossible, I don't have what it takes." Big thinkers use words of possibility. They say, "I can, I will, it's possible, I'll figure it out." This simple shift in language changes everything. Even when you don't feel confident, using strong, positive words helps create confidence. For example, instead of saying, "I hope this works," when say, "I'm certain this will work." Instead of saying, "I'll try," say, "I will." Instead of saying, "I'm afraid," say, "I'm excited." Language is a tool. Use it wisely and it will lift you higher. Use it carelessly and it will keep you small. Schwartz also urges us to master the art of listening. Most people are so busy talking, proving themselves, or arguing that they never really hear others. But listening is a superpower. When you listen, you learn. You understand people's needs, fears, and desires. This gives you the ability to connect, to influence, and to lead. Big thinkers listen more than they speak. They ask questions, they pay attention, and they make people feel understood. And when people feel understood, they trust you. Trust is the currency of influence. Finally, one of the most inspiring lessons from this book is that success is not about being average, it is about daring to be different. Average is crowded. Average is safe. Average is small. Big thinkers choose to rise above average. They are willing to stand out, to take risks, to go against the crowd. They don't ask, "What is everyone else doing?" They ask, "What is the best thing I can do?" And that difference makes them leaders, innovators, and pioneers. If you want extraordinary results, you cannot live an ordinary life. Thinking big means daring to believe that you were meant for more, that your dreams are valid, and that your life can make a difference. Think back for a moment to the times in your life when you achieved something meaningful. Maybe you graduated, landed a job, or even just mastered a new skill. Before those achievements became reality, what was their origin? They started as thoughts. They began with an idea that whispered, "Yes, I can." That thought grew until it influenced your actions, which then shaped your outcome. This is the core principle Schwartz teaches. Your mind is the workshop where success is manufactured. If you fill it with doubt, your workshop will produce excuses. If you fill it with belief, your workshop will produce results. Belief is not blind. It doesn't mean ignoring obstacles or pretending challenges don't exist. Belief means choosing to see possibilities where others see dead ends. It's about conditioning your mind to expect growth instead of decline, opportunities instead of limitations. This is why so many people remain stuck. They allow their mental machinery to run on the fuel of fear, scarcity, and negativity. But when you refuel with belief, you tap into an unlimited power source. Schwartz points out that the size of your success is determined by the size of your belief. If you believe you can manage a team of 10, you might succeed at that. But if you believe you can lead a company of thousands, suddenly your horizon expands. What limits most people isn't their intelligence or education, it's their imagination of what's possible. And imagination is controlled by belief. The magic begins when you deliberately decide to enlarge your thinking. Instead of asking, "Can I?" start asking, "How can I?" That small shift transforms problems into projects, challenges into chances, and doubts into decisions. Think about it. Every invention, every business, every breakthrough started with a mind that dared to believe bigger. Airplanes, space travel, smartphones, even the internet. All of these were once dismissed as impossible fantasies. But someone believed. Someone thought big. That's the same power available to you. When you face a goal, instead of shrinking it down to match your comfort zone, expand your thinking to match the size of your dreams. One way Schwartz suggests to practice this is to use excitement language. Instead of saying, "I hope I can do it," say, "I know I can do it and I'm excited to prove it." Words shape thoughts, and thoughts shape reality. Another strategy is to associate with people who think big. If you constantly surround yourself with small-minded thinkers, their doubts will leak into your mindset. But when you connect with big thinkers, their energy, belief, and ambition will inspire you to stretch beyond what you thought was possible. Schwartz also emphasizes the importance of visualizing success. See yourself achieving your goals. Play the movie in your mind where you already succeeded. This creates a mental rehearsal that programs your brain for action. Olympic athletes do this all the time. They imagine crossing the finish line or standing on the podium. Their belief is strengthened by seeing it before it happens. The same is true for you. If you can see it and believe it, you're halfway there. But belief alone isn't enough, it must be paired with action. Many people dream, but they don't do. Big thinking requires bold action. Action validates belief. Every small step you take toward your goal reinforces the idea that it's possible. And with each step, your belief grows stronger, creating a positive cycle of confidence and achievement. Schwartz warns against what he calls excuse-itis, the disease of making excuses. People infected with excuse-itis blame their failures on a lack of intelligence, a lack of luck, or unfair circumstances. They shrink their world by convincing themselves they can't succeed. But those who think big refuse to be victims of excuses. They take ownership of their actions, focus on solutions, and keep moving forward. Excuse-itis kills belief. Responsibility fuels belief. So when you hear yourself making an excuse, catch it. Replace it with a commitment. Instead of saying, "I don't have the time," say, "How can I make time?" Instead of, "I'm not smart enough," say, "I can learn what I need to know." This mindset shift is the difference between small thinkers and big thinkers. And here's something profound. Belief doesn't just change your results, it changes you. When you start believing big, you carry yourself differently. You stand taller. You speak with more confidence. People notice your energy and respond to it. Opportunities that were invisible before start to appear. Why? Because belief is magnetic. It attracts resources, people, and possibilities into your orbit. Think of it like a radio frequency. If you're tuned to the station of doubt, you'll only hear static and fear. But when you tune into belief, you pick up signals of growth, hope, and opportunity. The frequency you choose shapes the life you live. Let me share a story that illustrates this truth. Years ago, a young man wanted to start a business. He didn't have much money, no fancy degree, and no wealthy connections. All he had was a belief that he could succeed. While others told him to play it safe, he kept repeating to himself, "I will find a way." That belief pushed him to take small actions every day, making calls, learning skills, reaching out to people. Slowly, opportunities opened. Investors noticed his passion. Customers believed in his product. And years later, that small business grew into a global company. The secret wasn't genius or luck, it was belief. He thought big, and big things happened. That's the magic at work. Now, as you listen to this, reflect on your own dreams. Where have you been thinking too small? Where have you limited yourself by underestimating what's possible? Schwartz challenges us to take inventory of our beliefs. If your beliefs are small, your achievements will be small. But if your beliefs are big, your achievements can be extraordinary. Here's a practical exercise. Write down your biggest goal right now, then double it. Ask yourself, what would it take to achieve twice this? Even if you don't reach the doubled goal, you'll still accomplish more than if you stayed small. This exercise stretches your imagination, forces you to think differently, and conditions you to expect more. That's the mindset of a big thinker. Belief also affects how you see other people. Small thinkers look for faults. Big thinkers look for strengths. Small thinkers criticize and tear down. Big thinkers encourage and build up. When you see the best in others, you not only improve your relationships but also strengthen your own belief in human potential. This generosity of thought creates goodwill, which always circles back to you in unexpected ways. Remember this, the world doesn't reward average effort. It rewards extraordinary effort. And extraordinary effort is born from extraordinary belief. If you want to achieve something remarkable, you must first believe it's possible. That's the doorway through which all success enters. The size of your success truly is determined by the size of your belief. So start believing bigger today. Plant the seeds of confidence, water them with action, nurture them with persistence, and watch as your life expands in ways you never imagined. Because belief isn't just a thought. It's the magic key that unlocks the door to your future. In the final stretch of The Magic of Thinking Big, David Schwartz leaves us with one undeniable truth. The size of your success is determined by the size of your belief. Everything we've explored so far, building confidence, thinking creatively, learning to take action, overcoming fear, growing your environment, improving relationships, leading effectively, and managing time wisely, was leading to this ultimate message. Big thinking is not a one-time act. It is a daily practice, a mindset you carry into every interaction, every decision, every challenge you face. When you begin to think big, your world expands. Opportunities appear where once there were none. People are drawn to your energy. Doors that were invisible suddenly open. Life itself starts to bend in your favor because you are no longer moving timidly, but boldly. Schwartz emphasizes that success belongs to those who dare to believe they deserve it. Most people think too small. They underestimate themselves, they shrink from their potential, they settle for less. But the individuals who leave a mark on this world are those who refuse to settle, those who enlarge their vision, those who see beyond the immediate obstacles and imagine a greater possibility. And here's the key. You don't need to be a genius, you don't need to have perfect circumstances, you don't need to wait for the stars to align. All you need is to expand your belief and then act on it. That's the magic. When you expect great things and commit to making them real, your brain finds ways, your actions align, and gradually, reality catches up to your vision. Think about it. Every invention, every movement, every breakthrough in history was born not from small thinking, but from someone daring to think bigger than everyone else. The airplane, the smartphone, space travel, none of it would exist if people thought only within the limits of what seemed practical at the time. Big thinkers are the ones who stretch the boundaries of what's possible. And now it's your turn. Schwartz's closing advice is both simple and profound. Don't wait. Don't delay. Don't convince yourself you'll think big tomorrow. Start right now. Look at the way you see yourself, elevate it. Look at the way you see others, treat them as important and capable. Look at your goals, multiply them. If you're aiming for something small, ask yourself, what's stopping me from aiming higher? The truth is, the only limits that exist are the ones in your own mind. If you raise the size of your belief, you raise the size of your results, and here's where it all comes together. Thinking big changes your language. You speak more positively, more confidently. It changes your actions. You take bold steps instead of hiding behind excuses. It changes your habits. You become a doer instead of a dreamer. And most importantly, it changes your destiny. So as we close this journey, let me ask you, what would your life look like if you truly dared to think 10 times bigger than you are right now? Imagine it. See it clearly in your mind. Feel the energy of that vision. Now commit to it. Take the first step today, however small, but take it with the conviction that you are on your way to something extraordinary. David Schwartz gave us the blueprint, but it's in your hands to apply it. Remember, success is not reserved for the lucky few. It is created by those who believe big, think big, and act big. You are capable of more than you've ever imagined. The magic of thinking big is not in the pages of a book, it's in your daily choices, your self-belief, your courage to dream beyond the ordinary. And if you carry this mindset with you from this very moment, you'll notice life shifting in ways you never thought possible. The final takeaway is this: think little and you'll live little, think big and you'll live big. The choice is always yours. So the next time fear tells you to play it safe, the next time doubt whispers that you're not ready, the next time comfort tries to chain you down, remember this lesson. Big success begins with big belief. And if you can hold that belief, nurture it, and act on it, there is no limit to how far you can go. This is the real magic. This is your invitation to rise higher, to chase bigger dreams, and to live a life that truly matters. So ask yourself one last time, are you ready to think big? Because your future is waiting, and it's bigger than you can possibly imagine.